Hello everyone, this is Shannon from That's So Po, and today I'm doing a review of Kim Jiyoung, born 1982, by Nam-Joo, translated from Korean by Chang. This book is amazing. It is under 200 pages and it packs such a punch. If you like books that really talk about societal issues from a feminist lens, you will love this book. So I want to tell you about all of the reasons why I thought this was such a standout novel. First, let me give you a summary of what the book is about. This is a sort of historical fiction / contemporary literary fiction that follows Kim Jiyoung. We start with her in her mid-30s in around 2015, and she develops an issue where she at times believes she is other people and acts as them. The rest of the book is trying to uncover what led to that point in her life. So we follow her from childhood through adulthood, looking at all of those formative experiences that really influenced how she turned out and what caused this kind of breakdown. So now let's talk about what makes this book stand out so much, beginning with the writing style. I really enjoyed the writing style, although it may not be for everyone. This is told in a third-person omniscient narrator style that is almost fairy tale or fable-like. There is a lot of removal in terms of the narrator from what is going on in Kim Jiyoung's life. It reminds me a little bit of the movie Amélie, although it is not whimsical in the way that Amélie is, but that third-person narrator who is exploring the life of a woman and the way that she grows up and the way that that influences her. I really like that kind of detached fairy tale narration style, so it worked so well for me, but this could be a very personal taste thing. Another aspect of the book that I think is probably a very personal taste thing, but really worked for me, is the data. This book integrates a lot of numbers. So as we're following Kim Jiyoung throughout her life, the book also gives us stats. It tells us about different aspects of Korean society and culture and the numbers, and it gives citations for this as well. In many ways, this book is as much a look at Korean society as it is a look at Kim Jiyoung herself. And in a sense, Kim Jiyoung is the embodiment of the typical Korean woman born in the 1980s. It's almost an allegory for women's experiences in Korea, in the sort of society that is set up in the way that they are socialized. I absolutely loved this aspect. I loved seeing the numbers, but again, this could be something that depends on the person. Another aspect I loved was the history. This book takes a look not just at Kim Jiyoung, but also looks at her mother and her grandmother and how each of them were shaped by the way that Korean society treated women in their generation, and how the way that they grew up influenced the way that they raised their children and influenced the sort of feedback that they would give to their children as they were growing up, the signals as to what behavior was acceptable or not acceptable, as to what they prioritized, as to how they made decisions. And I really liked that historical context, sort of showing what influences not just Kim Jiyoung but her entire family has had in getting to the point where they are today. One of the core focuses of this book is really examining the patriarchy, taking a look through a feminist lens at Korean society. And what I really love is this takes a look at sort of the everyday experiences of women. Rather than looking at just, big horrendous events, it looks at those very everyday microaggressions and socialization of women to know their place. And I really like the way that it focuses on how pervasive that is and how insidious that is, and how even when people think that things have improved, they probably haven't in reality, or at least not as much as you would think, and how some of the ways that people think about things or the actions they take undermine some of the progress that has been made. I think it is excellent social commentary, and it reminded me a lot of the essay collection Not That Bad, edited by Roxane Gay, which is about rape culture in the US. And in that collection, there's a lot of different essays talking about the use of rape, but also just the use of oppression of women as a form of patriarchy and as a form of enforcing obedience and oppression. I really liked how I saw so many parallels between what Not That Bad was talking about and what Kim Jiyoung was talking about. A lot of these, even though we're completely different societies, different cultures, different experiences, there's so much that is shared in terms of the way that women are socialized and oppressed. And I got so much out of what this story was saying in that aspect. And finally, relatedly, is just how heart-wrenchingly relatable and real the experiences of Kim Jiyoung are. Everything that she goes through are things that either you yourself have experienced or somebody you know has experienced. They're often very minor things, but they are just such an embodiment of what is going on in society. I really liked how grounded in the experiences of women this was, and how Kim Jiyoung's experience sort of represents all women and everything that they go through, even though she herself is a character who has her own life, her own experiences. It felt so relatable, so understandable what she was going through and how that led to the situations that she was dealing with. And I really like as well that this book doesn't try to wrap things up in a neat bow. It doesn't try to provide solutions. It more just shines a light on the experiences of women and sort of provides that insight into why all of these factors could lead to the sort of life that Kim Jiyoung had had. And I really, really liked that. Overall, I think that this book does a fantastic job of talking about issues that affect women, about the way that women are socialized, and does it in such a real and relatable way, if a sort of dark way. And it just moved me so, so much. I also really loved, I looked slightly into the author, and it sounds like this book was very much something that she wrote based on her experiences, and especially some specific issues that she had when she got married and had a child, and sort of how that affected her choices in life. And I just thought it was so well done, so powerful, and it's such a short read. So I definitely recommend that you pick this up if anything that I've said sounds interesting to you. If you have read this book, or if you have any thoughts, any comments, any recommendations for other books that you think do a great job commenting on society and the patriarchy, I'd love to hear from you. Go ahead and leave me a comment down below.